Alright guys, just going to talk a little bit about these two amplifiers here. We've got a Lepai 2020 Ti and we've got a Lepai 168HA. These amps are pretty similar priced over at Parts Express. You can also order them off Amazon. I think the one on the left, which is the 2020, that's about 25 bucks. And the 168, which is on the right, is, I think it was 30 bucks, maybe 29 bucks. But so they're pretty close in price. The main difference between them is that the one on the left, the 2020, is just a 2-channel amp. One on the right is a 2.1 channel amp. That 2.1 channel is going to drive a left and a right speaker, and it's also going to power a subwoofer as well. The 2-channel amp on the left, the 2020, is just a left and right channel. So I'm just going to kind of go over the features and see which one's best for you. So just start off on the left over here with the 168. You've got a power switch over here. This is your subwoofer volume. This is your crossover for the subwoofer. You've got a bass and treble, and then this is the master volume for the left and right speakers. One thing to note is that the subwoofer, the volume is actually separate from the left and right speakers. So once you adjust this, this is completely independent of this. So once you get your volume set where you like it, you pretty much have to use your device, which in this case is my cell phone, to control the volume. Because if you just turn this up and down, it just makes the left and right speakers get louder, but the subwoofer stays the same volume. Another thing to note about this is as soon as you turn the subwoofer volume up, even just 1/10 of a turn, it feels like the subwoofer goes pretty close to max volume. So most of this travel that you have here, it just doesn't do much other than just crank the sub just a little bit more. So it's super, super sensitive. It seems to work, but it's kind of a pain. I'll show you the back here real quick. So you've got the left and right input back here. If you want to use RCA cables, the 3.5 millimeter is on the front here. This top, it's the left and right speakers, and then this bottom is your subwoofer out. Now, a lot of people ask if you have to use both of these terminals for the subwoofer, and you don't. It looks like they just put this this whole piece in here just to save cost. So for your subwoofer, these red and black are exactly the same. So just use one or the other. It doesn't really make a difference. I think it probably just would have been more expensive for them to have a custom-made piece. So they just did that to save cost. This is where you plug your power cable into. This is a output to charge a USB device. One thing to know is I tried to plug a Chromecast into this, and it just didn't keep the Chromecast powered on. I'm not sure if it was just because it was intermittent, but the Chromecast wouldn't boot up all the way. Chromecast audio, sorry. It just wouldn't boot up all the way. So I'm not sure how useful this is. It did seem to charge my cell phone when I plugged it in, but like I said, it didn't power that Chromecast, which is something I kind of wanted this for. All right, let's just check out the 2020. These things are fantastic. It doesn't have quite as many of the quirks as 168. So if you don't need the subwoofer output, I think this is the amp to get. So we'll just go over the front of it here real quick. You've got your power switch. This is your tone control. So if the button is out or in, it changes whether or not you can use these trebles. So if you push the button in, it bypasses the treble and the bass controls, and it just makes a flat response. But if you want to use these treble controls and the bass controls, you can press that button, and then you can adjust the bass and the treble, which are these two knobs. This is your volume over here. It's got this nice ring of lights around it. It makes it look a little bit more expensive. It's a metal finish, but it just feels kind of cheap. I can't say that it feels chintzy, but it just, I don't know, it's kind of light. It's just, the build quality, just, you could tell it was made at a price point. Looking at pictures, these look like a solid piece of equipment. But once you get it in your hand, it's a pretty light piece of equipment. It's not very substantial, which for 25 bucks, what can you expect, right? So back here you've got your See if I can get this to focus here a little bit better. So back here you've got your left and right input for your RCA cables, which is right here. This is your 3.5 millimeter, which I just had plugged in. You've got your left and right connections, and then your power connection over here. So one thing that's different is that the 3.5 millimeter jack is on the back of this unit, where it's on the front of the 168. So as for sound quality, we'll test them out here in just a second. I'll show you how they both sound. We'll test this with and without the sub, so that you can get a sense of what the sub adds to it. One thing to note is both of these units come with a pretty cheap power supply. To get the maximum power out of these, you have to buy a different power supply. And that was just a cost-saving measure. So we're actually going to be using both of these with the upgraded power supply. So that's kind of a level playing field, so that each of them being powered by the same power supply. Then you guys can judge for yourself and see which ones you like better. All right, so let's talk about which one you should actually pick up. So if you're just looking for a cheap amp just to power 2 speakers, the 2020 is definitely your choice, which is this one right here. It's a couple bucks cheaper. It doesn't have the quirks of the 168, and I think it has just a little bit better sound quality. But if you do want to power a subwoofer, clearly this is your choice because it has the built-in subwoofer amp. It does have some quirks. But if you do have that subwoofer, you're going to get a little bit more complete sound than just power speakers alone with this 2020. The crossover in this isn't perfect. So if you are powering a sub of the high signal does come through the sub. You could kind of work around it, but you still do notice it. Like I said, the sub volume's kind of finicky. And this, you notice while we were playing the music, it has this blue light that flashes, which is surprisingly bright, so it just gets kind of annoying. So both these amps, I think, are for the price, are fantastic. Less than 30 bucks each. I mean, how can you beat it? They're both going to do their job, but it just depends on what you're looking for. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just tried to show you off some of the differences between these two. If you watch some of my other videos, you notice that my voice sounds awful. I just had surgery yesterday and been dealing with losing my voice. So that's just fantastic, if you're wondering. All right, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it. Let me know what you think.